Super short clip, basically for me to just say I have crazy energy right now, and I need to get out there and start using it, because I feel there are days that I feel super anxious, and I describe myself as like a bow and arrow, where the arrow's drawn all the way back on the bow, and I just need to figure out what to aim at and then release. That's kind of how I'm feeling, but I don't feel anxious. I just feel super energized. Like I have the potential energy of what's in that arrow and bow when the arrow's drawn all the way back, but without the panic or the need to figure out where to aim it. So I feel really, really good right now. It looks like it's about to rain again, which kind of sucks, but I'm going to head out here in a minute and burn some of this energy. I just got out of the shower where I shaved my head. I have never been so afraid to shave my head in my life. I've never been afraid of a razor like that in my life. I actually switched back to the razor that I used to trim my beard and everything else. But the second there was like light resistance on the razor, I was like panicking. But I think it came out okay. I'm still, kind of a little hot from the shower. It's also a little hot in this room, so I'm kind of dripping here a bit. But I'm sure you guys will see it a little bit better as the day goes on. I'm actually about to schedule. Yeah, that's right. I'm about to schedule the call as like the follow-up from yesterday, and looking forward to it. Hopefully it goes well. And I think the battery's full, so everything should be good. I should be able to record that call and share as much as I can. And we'll kind of go from there. What logo is that one? That's pretty good. Well, you can, I would not necessarily copycat, but you can license it out, right? You get a huge royalty every time the design that's similar, and making money off licensing and royalties is like tried and true, and you just sit back and collect a check from their efforts. Like you don't want to push that out there and it's wildly successful, and now that's definitely staying as that's what your brand is, and as you're trying to reinvent it and make people realize that it's now this other thing with different shape and different push behind it. You'd be working against, you'd be like the guy that eats for 2 weeks on a cheat week before he goes on the diet, like you'd be working against yourself. Out of any product that you guys could launch or build or assemble with the engineers, right, this is the one we know is going to sell based on history, right? So this one, it's not necessarily a layup, right? It's still got to make sure. But there's a very good chance that this is going to sell very successfully, right, from the launch. Out of the gate, you don't need as much of that momentum, right? The inertia is already in our favor. Exactly. Changing maybe the marketing isn't so much that product, that logo, that whole thing. It's more of changing the process, it's now more of a company that's gathering feedback and innovating instead of. So if that's the case, then I think the people that we would use to test, they don't need to be huge influencers, because that would again kind of work against us. If testing it, being thorough with it is still a good idea, and still telling the world that, make sure that we're communicating to the world, so that they see, so that it looks like maybe 100 times the effort that it actually is, just to make sure that we're being that thorough with the testing. And then when it launches, if there's no issues, we know we're good, and we can then immediately shift the focus to rolling out the new logo, the new designs, the new brand. They're so commoditized, and I know that this one's going to have its own unique selling proposition, but that's one I think if you can just. But I 100% think those should be a bundle, right? Maybe if you buy them separate, it's $3 more or $5 more, or some stupid small amount of money. But when you bundle them on the website, or maybe you sell a special SKU on Amazon that's both together, I think that kills it. Okay, so if you didn't put 2 and 2 together there, that was not the call that I was referencing. That was a call with a client that I help with business strategy and marketing and some of those kinds of things, and not the call I was alluding to earlier. So if you didn't figure that out, just because the conversation is like really weird, yeah, I probably can do a good job of editing this, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to leave it in very linearly as kind of what made up my day. So I should be having the call here in a few minutes, though. The actual call that I was talking about. Yeah, no, I think that description's accurate. It's hard to evaluate how well that would work, and I think it can work, but I definitely would say, I need to get a better fee. Accountability systems would need to be in place such that I could say, here's the routine and the schedule and the parts that I can't be there to make sure happen. Within that first month? No. I mean, I would say, I would want to spend time, in that more so the first week maybe than the first month. Yeah, no, that sounds good, and it would be also good to have your notes. And I think the benefits of exercising, physical and mental, are non-negotiable. Okay, well that was going to be a question. And what's the distance? I'm not a marathon runner. I'm not built like one, and I don't ever expect to be. And yeah, so that I was thinking start date sooner than later. But I would want to accommodate for at least 1 or 2 pit stops along the way, even if it's for just a couple days. So, but pretty quick on the time frame. All right, the battery's about to die. I can see the thing blinking because this has been a very long conversation. I recorded all of it, but I'm going to clip a lot of it into small pieces. Because the battery's going to die, I'm going to end the video here, charge the battery, and then I'll fill you guys in and give you a little bit more of an update later on tonight. Sucks because I was just recording and I pretty much said everything I wanted to say, but the autofocus was having a hard time finding my face, I guess.
Sorry, I'm not sure about that.
Whole bunch of fucking chaos happening in here. I don't know what the heck just woke up for anyway. The autofocus of the camera was having a hard time finding my face, I guess because of the lighting or the angle or something. So we're on manual focus right now, but as far as I can tell, it should look pretty sharp and in focus, my face anyway. Busy day up until dinner, and then after dinner it was kind of calm and relaxing. Just had one more late call. Now I'm just kind of waiting to hear back. What you guys saw from the call I had earlier is what I wanted to comment on, but when the camera's on for extended periods of time and it was back to back, it seems to drain the battery way faster. And being kind of new to the whole camera video world, I don't have a spare battery, which I will remedy at some point. Charged it, and here we are. So I wanted to share my thoughts. I thought the call went really well. I feel like they've consistently expressed wanting me to come on board. Any of the things that I've ever asked for or any of the things that could be objections, they're always willing to work through. This is probably the best way I could explain it. Anytime there's been something that would cause me to say no, they've proposed an alternative. If I were to be like, well, listen, the fact that I can't wear blue shirts is a problem, they'd come back and be like, it's okay if you wear blue shirts. We've decided we're okay with that. Like every single time they've come back. So when I sent in my list of requests, they were pretty quick to say, like, we can do all of these except one, but that one, here's how we would accommodate it in a different way. And we're going to meet and finalize everything and get back to you. I was very happy at the end of the call. I think it went really well. I don't know that it conveyed a ton of enthusiasm, kind of like watching it back. He definitely conveyed probably, I think it's fair to say, he was more enthusiastic sounding than I was. But it was a good call overall because I think it was just like, let's just put everything out there and let's, where are we at on everything? One thing that happens a lot with calls and meetings, especially in corporate America, is you'll have a meeting and it doesn't resolve anything. And then you just have to have more meetings, and then you have more meetings, but there's not actually a clear purpose or an aim or a goal of the meeting. And this we actually said, okay, like, here's why we're on the phone right now, and here's the next steps, which is the most important thing, right? Like, if you don't solve everything then, you need to know what the next steps are. And the next steps, they're having an internal meeting within their organization, and they're going to discuss things, and I should know, if not before the end of the night tonight, sometime tomorrow. I know it hasn't been that long, but it feels like it's been long just because it's a big decision to have to make. And I'm feeling really good that no matter what happens, I'm in a good position. I feel like at this point, I'm at the point now where, depending on what happens, I know that I'll be okay. I can't remember who I was talking to the other day, and they were just like, you're uniquely qualified for a lot of things in esports and blah, blah, blah. It just made me realize, like, I don't need a safety net. Like, even if all the offers I have right now disappeared, like, I'd figure something out. Like, I'd find my way. And so no matter what happens at this point, I'm just going to roll with it and go with the flow. I have a feeling they're going to come back and say that they can meet all my requests, and we'll move forward from there. But if not, I don't think it'll be that big a deal, and I'm ready to roll with it if that's how it happens. So, and what I got to do right now, I got to throw some clothes that are in the washer into the dryer and finish some laundry, which is why I'm recording downstairs. And then I'll probably head up, jump back on the PC for a little bit longer, maybe do a little bit of reading. I'm not super tired right now, so I have a feeling I might be up a little bit later than maybe 1 o'clock, 1:30. We'll see how it feels once I get upstairs. to wag your tail, but you ready for bed? Yo, you ready for bed?